welcome to Dragon Time.
No, that's your kid's show. That's your other one.
Oh, we're doing the Dragon's Tome. Oh, okay. I forgot. Well, I have a lot of notes here for Dragon Time, so bear with me. We'll have to go through the Candyland type board game that is Dragon Time, invented by me, TM. No, we're doing Dragon Magazine. We've been doing them for every month's issue for now 51. And my co-hosts here, Pat and Rob, they've been with me the whole time, and we're going to keep going until one of us dies or the magazine's over. See which one happens first.
We're going to replace whoever dies anyways.
It's probably going to be me.
If the pool is any indication, then yes.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Because Pat can't swim.
I see my Deadpool joke turns into it was a little grim. Rob brought back around. That's why we're a good team.
We turned it from grim Deadpool joke to a grim drowning joke.
Yeah.
We're not a happy team.
Okay.
We play
I'm Rob and Jack. Yeah, we turned around, so Pat's still dead.
But we can laugh about it.
But the comedy's still there. The comedy's the important part. But speaking of something that everyone wants to see, look at this cover.
That's a little fair.
This is a nice, pixie, both...
Do you think they painted those leaves or are those real leaves? Because that's a very good painting if it is.
They're definitely painted, but it's very good.
Susan Collins. Very good.
Susan Collins painted this.
Yeah, her object source lighting. Well, her object source lighting is spectacular. It looks just like the sun is coming down on those leaves. Like, I can't tell the difference if it's fake or not.
Dappled.
Sun dappled, exactly. And look at those wings, the pearlescent wings. We've said it for the last few episodes. The quality has really shot up, and not everything has to be realism. Not everything has to be like this, where you're like, "Wow, that's real art."
But you can't tell it was done with pencil crayons anymore. Remember the early ones where it was like you could tell how they did it. Now it looks like actual art.
Yeah. So.
I think this is a phenomenal cover, man. I mean, I really am having a hard time believing that this is not real leaves.
But you're also into pixies, so.
I do like the pixies. Here comes your man.
Oh, yes. And then, okay. A good music reference. So the price is still $3.
Oh, you get a fantastic new game in this. That's why.
It's not Snits, though. This is Ember's New Treasure.
It's by the guy who made Snits.
It's Snits 2, Snits Revenge, Snits Electric Boogaloo. We'll get to it.
It's Snits Camouflage.
We'll take one last look at the cover. Anyone else have anything to say about the cover?
I already left the cover.
Okay, well then we're going to follow Rob down. Rob usually starts us off with the Dragon's Rumble, so if everyone wants to follow along to page 4, Rob, what's Kim Mohan have to say about himself?
What this one is about? Another magazine called what was it called? I don't even remember. I don't think I wrote down.
Space Gamer.
Yeah, they wrote about Traveler in their latest issue, and this one's all about Traveler, so he's all paranoid that they think they copied each other, or that GDW paid them to put these in there, but it's just a popular game, and that's why they both have them. But he writes 2 whole columns about how we didn't copy them. It's just a popular game. We weren't paid. It's just a popular game. Old Kim goes on for a bit, and he's terrible, and I hope he dies. Oh, he doesn't. Spoiler.
He doesn't. We know that. No.
So, sadly, Dragon Rumbles, womp womp.
Okay.
So, that's all I got.
That's a good start. We have Kim dropping the ball for the second month in a row. Mm-hmm. So, Patrick, what? Where are we going to go? This is the meat and potatoes now. We're starting this magazine.
Let's go into page 11.
Ooh, 11, not too far. We can find that.
We're plotting the course for choosy players here.
Okay.
All right, let me just point out that I have never really played a full game of Traveler, so I don't know the first thing about this game. But what caught my eye about this article is that when the procedure for making your characters is apparently you roll randomly against your random skills. So then it really never lets you make the character you want to play. And there's an argument to be made that then that's why you role play. You role play the character you made, but then but half the fun of playing in these role playing games is making a character you want to play.
Yeah,
is my argument. So this article here then,
unless it's one shot or something, who cares? But yeah, if you're gonna play long term, you want something that actually you care about.
You can fit into.
Like he starts the article like his best friend is a Star Wars freak and loves Han Solo, yet whenever he plays Traveler, he can never get the piloting skill, so he can never be Han Solo. So he decided to remedy that fact by giving you a step procedure how to do it by using characteristic points instead, which eventually becomes, this random rolling for skills and traits and things eventually fades out in most RPGs anyways and becomes a point system.
Well, even D&D nowadays, the new D&D 1 or whatever it's coming out, you don't roll for your character, you just assign points.
Yeah, even now, even 5th edition, they had a way of not rolling dice for your attributes, you just assign so many points the way you want to.
Min-maxing. Unfortunately, it's too easy to min-max it.
Elijah did min-max in that sense, but you can always fix that by you can only put so many points in a skill.
Yeah. A good game system has already eliminated that possibility. You can make the character you are looking to get to, but without breaking it.
Yeah. You're not giving yourself 20 strength right off the bat.
Yeah, because you can only put 4 points in your thing. Regardless,
minimums too. Like everybody would just drop like 1 point in charisma and just be like, not play it like you're a hideous monster, but
yeah.
So I think this was a nice way of fixing the problem, which I think would have been a problem for me if I played Traveler. Is just the random rolling of skills. So you could never make a cohesive party then, of team workers, if everyone had the same skills.
Well, I like the idea. Like, I think what we always played D&D is you roll your numbers, but then you assign them to whatever,
and I've always done the roll 4 dice, keep throw away the lowest.
Yeah.
And then assign your numbers to whatever ones you want.
Yeah. So there's always modifications. The total randomness. Yeah, you're right. You'd never get the character you want. I don't want to play a clear, but I keep rolling high wisdom or something, it's like, please stop.
Or I want to be but since Traveler's a sci-fi game, I want to be I'm like his buddy. I want to be a pilot, but I can never roll the piloting skill.
Yeah. Yeah, this seems even more in depth. Like you say, I've never played Traveler, but I think it's more than just your characteristics you're rolling for too. So it seems like there's a lot more chance instead of just that.
I'll even say I could never understand the random, like even going to wargaming, the first editions of Warhammer 40K and everything, when you rolled your equipment for your squads, you didn't pay in points for equipment. You rolled on a chart, and that's the equipment they got.
It's just random stuff.
Yeah, so even it's kind of odd. That went away. So.
That wouldn't fly at all today.
No, not at all.
No. Okay. Well,
and then on page 12 or 14 on the thing, I'd just like to point out the Viper clone.
Yes. It's from an article called "New Ideas for Old Ships," and it's basically to in Traveler to reuse a ship within the game. It must be quite important. But
is this one of your articles?
No. Okay, I read the magazine. Part of my job here on Dragon Time is to write the script for the cartoon, have it sent away.
I honestly didn't think you would have read this article. That's why I skipped right over it.
Oh,
Jack reads everything.
I try.
I try to read all of it too, but sometimes you just got to give up.
I don't.
100%. I do. But the Viper's there, but then there's also in the background, there's, I think it's one of the Apollo rockets. There's, I think I forget what that ship in the front's called, but it's just some subtle nods to...
it looks like the Space 19 and Eagle.
That's what I was thinking.
Eagle.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, so... Okay, well then, so Rob did his, Pat's done his. My first article will be on page 35.
I think this is one of mine too. Me and you keep choosing our same ones.
I think because this is in the zeitgeist of the game at the time. It's not so much anymore, but this is basically the do's and don'ts of the Paladin, and at the time it was that you were really hamstrung by certain things, even more than by today's standards. And there's still a lot of rules, but
well, I'm a Paladin player, and yeah, I wouldn't play it if you had to obey these guys' rules. They're very strict.
One of those ones where you cannot have a party member. If you find out the party member is of evil alignment, it's throwdown right then and there.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, okay, well, not only for the gameplay, that's going to be very difficult. That's going to be a party destroying almost every time. But also there's no... I think... Yeah, with clerics, they're in the same thing. There's multiple gods, yes, but they all seem to be on the same page as to what their disciples and their warriors all have to behave the same way and stuff. It's the best of both worlds. They can claim there's deities, but none of them are bad enough that would let a paladin play a dice game in an alley.
Or even like Norse gods, you'd think they'd be all happy about killing things, and like all different gods have different tenets, but they don't care. They're like, his thing is like, even if your religion approves of non-lawful good things, you must still be lawful good. Like, no matter what your tenets are, you have to still.
Yeah, it's hard to be that. Even the warrior priests of old in old England were easily corruptible too. You know what I'm saying?
Or at least, like he says, you can't be conceited or greedy. It's like, no, it's as long as you think you're still being good and you're not. There's murdering people. Like, you could definitely be conceited. Like, usually being ultra good makes you conceited. That's all.
Exactly.
And weird things. Also, you can't be in a party with the majority of being neutral, which I thought was weird too. It's like, what?
No, because you got to do. If you're neutral, and it doesn't make a difference what you do.
Yeah, but you can't be in a group that's majority neutral. Like, you can't even be like, no, I'm gonna maybe change these people. Like maybe I'll show them the right way. No, you can't be in a group that many neutral people.
Yeah, for someone who should have enough wealth and power to have like plate mail armor and have the power, they basically want you to be a friar. Like,
yeah. He also says if a paladin is forced to, if you meet a bunch of werewolves, which are evil, even if they're baby werewolves, you have to kill them. Because they might grow up to be evil, full werewolves. So you have to kill babies, you have to kill children, you have to kill defenseless women. Like, it's like, no, that's pretty evil. Like, there's gray areas here. And then they have to say that. Not for this guy.
Not back in this in this era when alignment was something that I don't think.
But I don't think even Gygax would have been that strict on the alignment,
Oh yeah, who knows?
But he also says that there's a 5% chance that if you break alignment, you're immediately smited by your god.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he says that the perfect paladin is John Wayne, which, as we know nowadays, that's not true.
No.
And the Indians might think differently about that too. in the
Exactly.
movies. He also says King Arthur and Lancelot are good examples. Lancelot, really? Come on.
Yeah.
Lancelot's like the worst paladin. And he at the end he admits that he wishes paladins weren't in AD&D at all. Maybe you shouldn't be writing an article about paladins, then, asshole.
It's true.
Roger E. Moore, indeed.
I think
back to James Bond.
Just the idea of a paladin in the beginning of D&D is this fanatical knight kind of holy roller thing that I don't even think the Knights Templar were those fanatical.
That's the point. Like Jack said, the alignments were be all end all. If you have a lawful good fighter, it should be the same thing. Like you're playing alignment, not necessarily a paladin, right? The paladin is just like an extreme version, as the way they see it. This guy sees it at least. Right?
They invented the alignment system and were then shackled to it, and after that, it was a lot of people trying to get around it, other people adhering to it. But Roger E. Moore here, I think, was trying to make a specific sect of paladin or a specific order of paladin that would have been like this. Mm-hmm. And like maybe even fascists or something, but as a global, this is how all paladins should be.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
It's archaic at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think their idea is paladins are OP, right? But so you have to offset them with all these rules. But I don't think that's necessarily true. Like they're just fighters, really. They have a certain abilities that if you put them in certain, like a bunch of undead or something, yeah, sure, they have more abilities. But it's not. I don't think if you have a good GM, you don't have to be so strict on this kind of stuff.
No,
but I mean, at that point though, you should be. It's not what you do. It's good or bad. It's still part of the tenets of the. Yeah,
that's how I've always played paladins. It's what's your god say. He's the end, the be all end all for you. You have to choose a lawful good god, obviously, but it's what that god says. That's if that tenet says you kill anything you come across, sure. But if it's be peaceful, that's different. There's lawful good could go either way. So
yes. So one thing that will probably be a legacy of that is like with clerics, there's going to be the original thought and when the rest of all of the playing base starts saying what about, it's like, ooh, well, we're already confined.
We're already the idea of you can't use swords and things like that. Where
it's already
certain gods would allow their. I think they changed that eventually with that cleric book in 2nd edition or 3rd edition, whatever it was, where they're like some gods, allow them to have swords.
I think Forgotten Realms changed it first.
Yeah,
because there was that Tome who allowed his priests to use swords because he was the god of war.
Yeah, like that's the thing. If you're choosing a warlike god, of course they're gonna not mind you spilling some blood. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to young Robert and see what's his next article.
Well, let's just slide right back to 38 here. It's the second Paladin article 38. In this, and it's thou shalt play this way, commandments for Paladins. This is another article about Paladins, but this one is about how DMs abuse Paladins and how to avoid it, which I thought it's a totally different angle. This has come from the player's angle. But it also looks to Historical Knight's Code of Conduct for how Paladins should act, and it has 10 points for good DM and Paladin relations. And I think this is much more clear and much more, logical. Within certain things, this is how you should act. This guy, though, he goes on about giving a Paladin a high-level mentor, cleric, who you're kind of bound to because that's how it used to work. So he really goes on about that a little too much, and you have to give tithes to him, and if he asks you to do a quest, you have to drop everything to do a quest. But his other things are like never retreat, never surrender. That's good for Paladin. No ranged weapons. Must destroy evil he meets. If he can't do it, he has to go get help to go destroy that evil. He can't lie, which is good. And another one, which I found was interesting, he must have as many followers as he can, because that shows how pious and spreading the word of God. And you always have to be good, obviously, but I think this one was a little bit more clear about, at least he had intention. He used, old old knight code of conducts to kind of make a paladin code of conduct, which I'm not sure about all that thing about high level mentors and stuff. It's a little too, I think, complex. You don't need all that. Like it's just another, unless your GM wants to have a mentor character in there, that's fine. But
well, like you said, they're more powerful than a fighter, and so you have to do something to keep them, in check so that they can be, an even playing field with the rest of the party. Having something like that where everyone, okay, here's your treasure, and the paladin goes, well, I can only have 10% of that because the rest goes.
Yeah, I take my share, but I only keep a certain amount of it, yeah.
That'd be a way to mitigate the...
Especially since, I think in the original AD&D, didn't you get experience for gold?
I think that came in second edition.
Was that second edition? Yeah.
I think so.
That would really hinder you. You'd get a lot less experience if you didn't get as much gold, so... Yeah.
But I do like this article more on brand.
Mm-hmm.
The theme is a little more, but it's so much more concise, and instead of abstracts, it's like.
Well, he does say that, like at the beginning. Obviously, this guy's a player because he's like, yeah, the DM tries everything to nerf you because he feels you're too powerful. It's like, yeah, well, just don't keep putting me up against undead then. Really, that's really where the paladin, sure, he gets cleric spells eventually, and he gets some pluses on saving throws and stuff, but really,
you can also turn undead.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if you don't come across undead, you're not any better than a fighter, really.
No, not at all.
So it's only when you're fighting things that a paladin likes to fight, like undead, that you're really a bonus. But
unless you do something against your god that gives you clawed hands.
Yeah, but it's all about GMs and how to, not screw over the character. Everybody should be having fun. You should just punish somebody because they're playing a paladin. Anyway, so that was my article.
Very good. Patrick.
Yes.
What page are we going to dally on over to?
Oh, let's go to page 20.
20.
Oh, yeah.
You just like the picture.
I like
skirts.
I like looking up the skirts.
Especially of the male one.
The winged folk. Not sure where this came from, or this guy just decided to make a new race.
Once again, there's in the new D&D there is angel characters.
Yeah, I mean these aren't so much angel characters; they're just winged folk.
Yeah, just guys. Wings, yeah.
I think it was a nice alternative race to add to your D&D world if you wanted to. If you happen to be a big fan of the Hawk people in Flash Gordon, because that'll be coming out in 3 more years also.
Oh, yeah.
Or even the Hawk people in the DC Comics. These guys work just like that.
Yep, Hawkman and Hawkwoman.
And Brian Blessed.
Yeah.
The ultimate Hawkman.
It's a nice little article. Gives them physical description, gives you minimums and maximums, so you can easily turn this into a player race if you wanted to, or you can make it just a race in your.
Yeah, come across. Yep.
Yep. It even has a little history, how humans turned against them. Apparently, these were more of a mercenary type people. They would hire themselves out.
I think we'll see winged people for like this is a pretty standard, not a trope, but winged people are pretty dope, and we'll see them a lot like in fantasy and stuff. But I don't know if as a player character, I don't think you could be down with that in the AD&D.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on who you...
Well, you'd have to really, once again, nerf them. They can't wear armor, say, or something like that, like make it really tough to play them.
Yeah, you can't wear plate mail because then you can't fly.
Or any armor, because where your wings going to go?
Do the back.
Look at them. They just wearing a little cross piece across their chest. Every single picture of them.
Yeah. Toga. So, yeah, every time you wanted to fly, you have to take your shirt off.
You could I'm sure you could wear leather or something. I mean, there's something you could, but definitely not wearing anything metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was a nice little. And as I read it, I couldn't figure out if this guy was making this up or if he just pulled it from somewhere. But whatever, if you made it up, I think you did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, even gave him a name, Al-Karak LM.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds biblical.
So, but what I do like about it is that it had nothing tied to any divine.
Yeah, they're not angels. They're just winged people.
Yeah, they were just winged people. So I thought that was really cool. So,
yeah. Much more
Good.
Hawkman than Angel.
Hawk people helping Flash Gordon.
No, helping the Justice Society.
Flash Gordon first.
No, Justice Society first, way first. There was in like the 30s.
Yeah, Hawkman is... I saw some... Okay, this is going to be a small tangent, so I'm only going to just very briefly say that the Hawkman lore in DC is probably as messed up as...
Yeah.
It's
probably
well known
to be. Yeah.
It's convoluted and retconned to the point where it's a bowl of porridge.
Are they aliens? Are they Egyptians? Are they
Egyptians? Yep. So
is it a medallion gives her powers? Or are they born that way? It's changed so many times.
Oh yeah.
So I was looking through some comics. And I was like, I wonder which one they chose for that. And I was reading, and it was him fighting a lizard man and stuff. I'm like, wow, this is wild. But yeah, small tangent. That if you want the most convoluted backstory of any, go try and learn about Hawkman.
Carter Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
me. It would be up to you now, Mr. Pike.
Yes, that was Patrick. So we're going to go down. Oh, we're going to go up to page 9.
9. Now, this is one of mine too. Yep.
You guys.
This is useful.
Well, this is Traveler.
But it doesn't matter. You could use it for anything, though, because it's just making your own aliens.
It's the chart. So everyone loves a chart. And you can, I guess.
It has nothing to do with Traveler, really. It's just you're doing
you could definitely use this for Game World.
Anything, yeah. Anytime you meet an alien, you just roll in these charts.
But even if you didn't play Traveler, if you got this Dragon magazine, this 1980, and you're like, oh, I want to, like we've done Pit Fiends and stuff like that before. It's the same, it's exact same premise. Well, what am I going to do? Well, I've got this. I was pleasantly surprised at what is involved, not having played Traveler, what they think is important, what was here on these charts. I could have seen making up a couple aliens on my lunch break reading this just by rolling the chart and seeing what I got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super useful. Like, any kind of sci-fi game, you want an alien? Here it is. Oh, what's that alien look like? Well, he's amphibian, he's radial around an axis for his
he's got 7
symmetry.
tails.
Yep. He's got 2 or more tails.
And a hunter-gatherer, which is nice.
And he's he's an omnivore.
But now thinking about it, I wonder if Traveler had its allure. What made it stand out was that a lot of it was rando, and you ended up with a character that you had to, like, if that was part of the fun.
I don't know.
I'm a mechanic, but I'm also an alien with 6 fibrous, and then, okay, now everyone go on this party of just whack jobs.
I don't think it's supposed to, Traveler's serious, though. It's not like Paranoia or one of those games. So, I don't know if they treated it that way, but it could have been a similar idea, just not treated as a joke. But if you play Traveler, please comment below. Let us know how it goes. But it's still around today, Traveler, so it must be popular.
Yeah.
Must be.
They must have been doing something right.
Yeah.
You can't, especially you have Gamma World coming out. You got all these other things, games plenty. If anyone's still playing Traveler to this day, there's got to be a little legs to it.
Yeah, it's just funny that none of us have tried it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 2 articles from each of us. Does anyone have another article? Does anyone want to really just draw this one out?
Look.
I have one more.
I have another one too.
Of course you do, because I'm in charge of this one, and now we're going to be here till midnight.
I think me and Pat probably the same one, though.
Okay, well, if not, then we're going to do Rochambeau to see who actually gets to it. The other one,
it's my turn.
Bad. Oh.
Page 24.
Yep. It's the same one.
Yeah. It's Leomins' tiny hut, but it's the introduction of zero-level characters, which becomes a thing later on. This is the beginning of it. Pat, you probably have more to say about this?
Yeah, it's like pre-first level characters. I also wrote down, I'm not sure the value of this even for a D&D campaign.
Well, it becomes a thing later on. Zero-level characters is a thing. So.
Yeah, but this is way more than just zero-level characters. This is it's a lot of minutia.
It is
just to get into the meat and potatoes of D&D.
Yeah, but that's Leomid's tiny hut. He goes into very, very detailed stuff, but
like I was like, this is a lot just to get to a first level character so you can play D&D.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be like the prototype or the zygote of a episode 0. You know, nowadays you go, okay, and you run a small adventure with just that person, and you kind of do a history thing and get them into the feel, and you kind of let them know what the game world's like tone-wise, so they can kind of judge, and by the time you're done, you're like, oh, and now you're going to wherever you're going to meet the characters or whatever. This is that times a million.
Yeah, on steroids. Like I never understood the zero-level character anyways, even when it came out. I just was like...
Jack loves it. You know? Jack, in his game, we start off as kids.
Yes and no. There's the first adventure, the tutorial adventure, where you're young, whatever. But then after that, there's no levels or anything like that. You just are. It's the adventure. There's no like grinding levels or something like that. You can start the game with just here's your character. They're all basically got their own things, and you just go on. And there's no like keep track of experience points or anything like that. Just the first go around has where you could kind of teach someone how to play the game, but this is beyond that. Like you're talking some of these. It was like, oh well, you spend 5 years doing this. You have to determine what you're doing for this and this. I'm like,
if that's the case, then yeah. I mean, if that's the case in far as zero-level characters, then you start your adventure as them like you would at just start, and then that's still your first level right there.
Yes.
Well, like Jack says, zero-level characters, you don't have a character class. You just what happens determines your character class almost. That's how it starts, right?
Yeah.
So this goes way in depth on that, though.
Yeah, I guess it's too much.
Train for years to do one thing, so
just to start the game that you just bought.
Yeah.
No, but it's classic Leonard. We've said it before. We've said it again.
Too much.
He's in the minutia.
Yeah, he's a minutia guy for sure.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Okay. Well, that's the end of the articles. And that was Rob. So, Pat, do you have an ad?
I do have an ad.
What page?
Page 2.
Same ad I had.
Lay it on me. Okay.
So this is the Mattel Electronics Dungeons & Dragons computer game. Now, this is the game they have at the Games Plus that I was going to buy when Rob came out.
Is this the one? Yeah.
But they had packed it away for Gen Con, and I had told myself if it came back from Gen Con, I would buy it. And I recently went to the Games Plus with Rick Hall from That's on the podcast, and I couldn't find it. I didn't ask about it. I just couldn't find it.
It wasn't in their vault?
No, it might have been in the vault.
But it wasn't in that one area where it's all the expensive stuff.
No.
With that little alcove?
Yeah, I looked there. But I'm in the hunt for this game still. It's a 2-player game. You got to steal the treasure from the dragon, and you don't know what the dungeon looks like. So as you walk, you actually you can see the plastic walls on the board there.
Mm-hmm. I thought it's like, what's that game that used to have things and all of a sudden it would just shake and knock everything everywhere?
Oh, that's I forget what that's called. But then
That's
the
what it
map,
looks like.
yeah, but the map gets the computer does the map every time.
Concentration?
Maybe.
Oh,
I do love how it's called the Computer Labyrinth game. There's no computer.
Battery operated.
It's a 9-volt, no less.
I know, but I mean, it's not a
there's-
computer.
There's a small computer, but because it randomizes the dungeon every time you play it.
It's like saying like those handheld games are a computer, with like the old football game and stuff with the dots on the screen.
I would call those the most basic computers ever.
I had a Space Invaders one that I played for hours and
Me
hours.
too. I
of
think I
sound.
broke it. Yeah.
So to finish the story about this article, I'm still in the hunt. So I went and looked into that the case that you talked about, Rob. And in there, do you remember in the last couple articles, there's been a Ralph Arthur painting contest, and it showed that the dragon flying over the treasure. They had that yellow box red dragon model case in the case, so I ended up buying that instead. So once again, I've recaptured another gold box Grenadier model set, and it was complete with the treasure and everything, so it was great. But yeah, this game will come to my house one of these days.
The Horde needs it.
Yeah,
You have sold off vast quantities of your Horde, so you need to repurchase.
but I had this game, and I would like to have it back again. It's a 1 to 2 player game, by the way.
We did sort some games out of the Horde to sell. Did you actually sell any of those games, Patrick?
I sold about half of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, some were probably worth some pretty pennies. So.
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, no one wanted those first edition Star Wars ships that were unopened that you can't buy anymore. They're out of print.
People are weird.
People are strange when you're a stranger.
It's true.
Okay, so those are your two ads. Now, I was going to do a bit where we went to, I was going to name a page. We were all going to go there. Then you were going to see it was actually the Emperor's Treasure, the new game, Snit-like game. We would all have a good chuckle. But I'm not going to do that anymore. Because as bits go, it would have been pretty lame. But I will ask everyone to go into the article. This giant waste of massive amounts of
like game.
So it's by the same guy. It's by the same guy. It's based on D&D. This game.
So I'm just going to ask you to go to page 46 down at the bottom, and just for Pat, you can.
All the little drawings for the people, very Snit-like.
Very Snit-like, and.
Mine's
page 46.
46, yeah, I'm on page 46 of the PDF.
Of the 48 of the PDF.
Now what? What are we looking at?
Yeah.
Vampire Flying Frogs?
Storms at Sea.
But Vampire Flying Frogs.
Oh,
it's that same picture, too.
It is a snitified picture of the vampire frog from... So...
Oh, it's from the mystical land of Florida.
Florida, yeah. It's a very
Snit-like, I think.
Yeah, you lost me.
It's done. I regret everything about this. It was a waste of space in the
genie's obtuse.
It's long too.
Oh, it's massive. I don't know how many pages it is. And when you think it's done, you're like, oh, okay, and you go on to other stuff. At the end, they have.
And actually, Osmo's Odyssey. Yeah.
At the end, because there's a whole bunch of stuff in between. You go right down the back of the magazine, and there's like full color.
Yeah.
More of.
I will play a little bit of devil's advocate here and say that if this is me in 1981, I would have probably tried this game out just because it was free, came in the magazine. There's not a lot of fantasy games out in 1980.
Yeah, but you're just a stupid kid. What do you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was the point.
That's my point.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure people like this. We just think it's stupid nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, you lost me with the frog. I might have given it a shot.
But the flying vampire frog?
Yeah, it wasn't enough to break me.
Okay. Well, then. It seems like Pat's broken. Rob thinks children are stupid, and I think it's time to end the episode. So, Rob always tells me to say something about licking someone who's at the bell or something like that. Something that I'm supposed to point down. I don't know what that means. Do you two have anything you want to?
No, I won't say lick someone, but like us.
Oh, like something. Like
No, lick the bell, as I said. Don't listen to Pat. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Oh.
Lick the bell, people.
Lick the bell. Okay, well then, you two, we're gonna wrap this one up. It's been a pleasure. We will see you later for episode 52, where we will once again go through and describe a Dragon magazine, and we'll all travel back in time and enjoy. Yes. So, I've been Jack.
I'm Rob.
I've been Chopper. I'm Rob.
Got him.
Chopper, Rob.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.